My career really began with a goal of getting my doctorate in sports medicine. I wanted so badly to become a trainer for the San Francisco 49ers. I wanted to be that girl that would get these players back out on the field. And then I was dating the captain of a local football team, junior college football team, and one of the radio announcers actually got sick, and they said, hey, you know the team really, really well. Why don't you just jump on the microphone and just start, talking about the players? And I fell in love with the microphone. And at that point, I decided I wanted to be a sports anchor. But when I jumped into my career, I realized I didn't want to do what it truly took at that point to become a sports anchor. There was the casting couch. The women really were not treated that well in the business at the time. There were very few women. This was back in like 1997. And so I decided just to see, well, is there any other aspect of television that I love? I love telling stories. And that's truly what I realized about myself through the whole process. It wasn't that I liked sports, or I liked energy news, or I liked business news. It was just, I'm a really great storyteller. I love people, and I have a talent for capturing the essence of who people are. When people watch the stories that I do on them, they always say, wow, I didn't even know that about myself. But that's truly what I feel. And that's the most rewarding part, and that's how I know that I've done my job and what I was meant to do. But my first job in television was at Central Florida News 13. It was a startup station, and it was a CNN affiliate except on the local level, and we had 24-hour news. And through that process, I realized I really wanted to be maybe a regular anchor or a regular reporter. And then I moved back to the Bay Area, and I became a producer for a local station with the hopes of actually becoming on air. And I worked my way into kind of a breaking news update every hour position along with being the producer. And then I discovered online news, and I realized that I could progress towards my goal a lot faster of getting a full-time job on air if I jumped to online. So in 1998 I became one of the first web-centric video reporters in business news. And I worked, it was called On 24. And from there, I ended up jumping into online energy news, and I became the Maria Bartiromo, in a sense, of energy. And so I was on the trading floor running from power to natural gas liquids to oil to, whatever else in the energy world that I could cover. And I really enjoyed that. And at that point, I realized that I didn't really need to know a lot about a particular topic. It was really about being a great storyteller. And that's when I ended up deciding, you know what, this job is coming to an end. The contract for the entire show was coming to an end. I feel like doing sports. I just feel like doing sports. And so I said to my agent, I said, I want to be a sports anchor. And he said, you don't have a tape. Like, where's your tape? I have Miss USA who wants to be a sports anchor, and she's one of my clients. I can't sit there and pitch you as a sports anchor. What am I going to show people? You've never done sports on camera before. I was like, I've been watching sports since I was like a kid, 4 years old, watching the Steelers, watching the 49ers. I was a trainer in stats school for every single sports team from high school clear through college. I don't miss a game, whether it's basketball, football, or baseball. And by the way, I'm a professional water skier, and I understand lacrosse and rugby. So, I mean, who wouldn't want me to do sports for their station? And as the contract was ending, I decided, well, if he's gonna say there's no way I can do it, I'm gonna figure out how to do this. So I went online and I started, searching for any kind of sports job. And it was still kind of the real beginning of the internet days, where a lot of people were trying new things, and the podcast was starting to come about. And there was a network that wanted to help people become, online talent and give people podcasts. So I said, I would love to maybe start my own little extreme sports show for women on a podcast. So they gave me a microphone, gave me the little recording device and the software to upload my own little sports show on there. And even before I even launched my first one, I had an interview over at the local ABC affiliate in Sacramento, because I thought, well, I need an actual paid gig right away. So I'm going to go in there and see if I can become a business news morning show anchor or contributor. You know, there wasn't a position available, but what the heck, maybe I could sell him on it. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I know this news director loves sports. What if I can just kind of throw in there that I'm really passionate about sports, and just consider the fact that I wonder if, even though I'm going in there to talk to him about business news, maybe I could get a sports gig out of it. And so I said, I deliberately waited outside in the parking lot the day I was going in for my little interview with him, and made it so I was right on time. So the moment he got the call, it was almost going to be 11:31, but it was still 11:30, so it was on time, but just kind of on the verge of being late, because most of the time you're early for an interview. And when he came up to approach me, I apologized. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm late. I had a meeting this morning with my executive producer because I have this sports talk show that I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we kept walking and talking as we were going down to his office, and I was just babbling away, as I'm doing right now. And we get to his office, and I'm still talking about the sports. I'm like, wait, hold on. I'm so sorry, Ron. I'm so passionate about what I'm doing here and excited about this opportunity that I forgot why I'm even here. You're just so easy to talk to. It's like I've known you forever. But business news. So I just got done with Energy News Live, and I was thinking that, you know, business news is up and coming, blah, blah, blah. And halfway through my sentence, he said, stop, wait a minute. I really could care less about business news. I could care less about energy news. I could care less. Our audience does not care. But let's talk about sports. My number 4 sports girl just ended up going off to ESPN. And I've been looking for just a backup to the backup to the backup. You know, would you mind coming in for an audition? Unheard of. Who in the, you know, top 20 market, who auditions for a job in sports without even having a tape? So I went back, created my own little sportscast, went in, and this is the other funny thing. So this story is going to go on forever because I just kept using these opportunities to leverage, and I realized, well, that's a backup to a backup to a backup job. Well, I still need a regular job. Even if I do get this, I need a regular job. So I had not read a teleprompter in years, so I called my other station that I worked at as a producer in the Bay Area way back when I did the breaking news updates. And I called the anchor and I said, hey, do you mind if I go to your station and just borrow the teleprompter and get a little training on teleprompter before I do this audition? He was so thrilled that I wanted to go to the station and, you know, practice. He took the tape, he taped my practice session and showed it to his general manager. And he was like, you need her to do sports because we hate our sports person that we have right now. And so after I did the audition for the other place, I get that gig before I even do the second run of the audition. I read it once through practice, and he hired me before I did even the real thing. And then I get a call that night from the general manager of the other station saying, hey, you know, Ed brought in your tape, and I'm really excited about it. You know, we do have this morning show position. I was going to consider you for that. I know you didn't apply, but would you be interested maybe in sports? And I said, well, I just got this sports gig at ABC, and I'm not sure. He said, just listen, this is a full-time gig. You're going to be doing 3 sportscasts every night, and you're going to have your own racing show. But I have to fire this guy tonight if I'm going to do this. Can you tell me right now you'll take the job? And so I was like, great. I called up my agent the next day. I'm like, I don't think I really need you anymore. I can do sports. Miss USA, what?